Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we serve up a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my usual gaggle of gals. We
The
have...
usual. The usual.
Yeah.
The usual. We're no
We-
Deidre Hall, but we'll suffice for today.
Ooh, somebody is feeling petty. Speaking of petty,
I wasn't able
girls,
to make it. Like I had to work.
you did have
It's
to work.
jealousy. It's jealousy coming out. No.
It's okay. We took care of it for you. And who are you?
Mhm. Who am I? Oh, and who do you play?
who do you play in this recap of Audition Days?
Oh God, who do I play? Michael Mattis. Not
Oh.
Lumberjack, but Basic Black. Basic Black.
Basic Black. Wow. Okay. And then of course we have the birthday girl herself, drenched in her tiara and holding her wine.
Yes.
Mimosa.
Mimosa, excuse me. We have...
Hello, everyone. I'm Araceli. Happy birthday to me.
Yes.
Yay! But if you want to wish her a happy birthday, you can only do so on Twitter.
Sundays.
I like my platforms.
And of course, your platform.
Platform.
Platform. Not platforms. Platform. Yay! And of course, we have, with new lighting and a new backdrop,
With a bookshelf and everything. He reads. Who knew?
look, don't let the backdrop fool you now. He bought that on Amazon just like I bought this one off Amazon.
Oh, is it not real?
After it fooled Tony the other day, okay?
It did.
It looks real.
It did
But no,
because
now I see. Okay, now I see the edge.
Where
All
are
right,
you?
I'm stupid.
well,
I'm an
because
idiot.
we were doing the Deidre Hall interview,
Yeah.
and I looked back and I was just like, he had that in his house, and then I was like, nope, I saw that same thing on Amazon. He completely tried it. Well, it's all of us here, everybody. Welcome to another recap of Dishin Days. If you would like to be notified as to when we're going live, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're already on it, so you might as well hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell, so that way you know when to come on when we're live. Also, don't forget, we're all on... I just totally blanked for a second. We're all on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is currently sweating here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Also, if you want to carry us around on the treadmill on a road trip while you're on your way to work, or if you're stuck in traffic, you can find us on all of your favorite podcast stations. We're on iHeartRadio, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you can find podcasts. Just do a quick search of Dishin Days, and you'll be able to take us wherever you go. Also, don't forget to buy merch. There was someone that made a purchase earlier. I thank you for that. But if you want a t-shirt, a beach towel, a mug, we have it all right there on our page, dishindays.threadless.com. So make sure you venture over there. And of course, for all of your soap opera fixins, you can head over to our previous co-host, James Lott Jr.'s YouTube channel, JLJ Media, for all sorts of audio dramas and recaps on Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. You can't get it today because James took a day off. So
Good for her.
make sure you go follow it and tune in next week. All right. Now that all the church announcements are out of the way, what did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
They were okay.
Yeah.
I'd slightly better than last week's, but it was more of like it was like info / like setup week, I guess they would call it.
Yeah, my favorite episode was the setup to be on Salem on Thursday.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite episode of the week.
Yeah.
True.
It didn't make me cranky.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I was
Good.
happy.
I guess that's a good thing.
We should, Araceli's crankiness level.
I was so cranky last week. I was just,
We were all cranky last week.
yeah. It was
Not me.
I definitely
hilarious.
The crankiness feeds the humor, but yes.
Yeah, everyone did love the show. They didn't like last week's days, but they loved our show.
Well, that's what we're
because
here
we
for.
kept talking, we kept going up, like we weren't talking about the show. We kept talking about other stuff. But yeah, it was a okay week. 5 out of 10.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, right.
No, days this week. Sorry.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
no,
but
I came home with that report card. Oh my god.
Well, listen, let's quickly break it on down, y'all.
Let's
It
be
is
real.
now time to start Dishin
Dishin Days.
You know what?
No, we'll never.
Okay, here we go. It is now time to start
Dishin
Days.
Lord have mercy. I don't.
Hey, I did it when you pointed.
It's like everybody's Wi-Fi is like not working. Bum, set it and forget it. All right. So, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth when it comes to these storylines. So, we have Johnny, Chanel, Alli, Tripp, Nicole, and Paulina. So the meeting finally happened where it's discovered that Johnny is the mystery man.
Oh my god.
Mystery man with Chanel, and then he's finally introduced to Alli, who he didn't know that was the BFF, and of course Tripp.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of this little meeting?
I do think he was a little out of line. Maybe not Johnny.
Yeah.
Maybe not the extent that Alli was taking it, because I think she's sort of wrapped up in her feelings about this and trying to work them out at the table. But I think he could have been a little bit more, I don't know, not understanding, but he was kind of making a joke about the whole thing. And it was kind of like, this is awkward and weird, but let's kind of like be pleasant about it and go with it. But yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It wasn't awkward. Like, they didn't have to make it awkward. Like, it's your twin brother. Okay. The problem is that in this relationship that we have given a lot of kudos for being honest, it's like, how honest are we about our feelings? Because everybody's wrapped up in jealousy. The only person who knows what they want out of this foursome is Johnny. And Johnny knows that he wants Chanel. But it's like, Chanel doesn't know if she wants Johnny or Alli. Well, it's like she wants Alli, but she's kind of like going with Johnny. And then it's like a slap in the face because you're liking basically the male version of the girl that you like. Then you have Alli who says, oh, I want to be with Tripp. But then she's getting jealous about Chanel and then hates that like Johnny is with Chanel. And then you got Tripp who's looking at everything being like, listen, I'm just trying to have a girlfriend.
Tripp knows what he wants. He just is trying to be super sensitive about it.
I'm sorry, Tripp does know what he wants as well.
And Johnny, I feel like we got a lot more of Johnny's personality this week. I think we thought we knew who he was, but Alli was right. There is that Demera streak in him that is not as obvious as it is in EJ, but it's kind of like an undercut. It comes in as an undercut, and you could see that in that dinner where he was out of line. Everything he said to Alli afterwards, I think, was true. Yeah. And, it wasn't tactless. It wasn't out of line. But those comments during dinner was like, you could be just a little more tactful.
Yeah.
But also Alli being all like, wait, was it at the dinner table where she was kind of like, but after you get that one thing and then like you're done with them, and like she was a bit much in it too.
They were both digging at each other. Like it wasn't just a one-sided thing. And I think Alli is obviously like it's not that it's not a case of like she doesn't want her brother with Chanel because she's trying to protect Chanel. She's making it off like that because she's jealous that obviously it's a mask. Like she wants to be with Chanel. She doesn't want to be with Chanel. So she's using Tripp. And then now that Chanel has her brother as a boyfriend, she's getting all out of whack again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I think that the difference is that, well, I've said this before, this whole storyline, everyone is being as honest as they can. They're not outright lying to anyone but themselves.
Yeah.
And Nicole and Paulina, I feel, were kind of the banner wavers this week, where they were just like, be true to yourself. Be honest, be true, don't lie. And that I started thinking about like the other side of it, where like, well, who's advising Johnny on all of this? Does Johnny need advice? And I'm like, well, regardless of whether Johnny needs advice or not, he only has EJ, and EJ is just terrible right now.
Well, yeah, and EJ's in no frame of mind to be giving romantic advice right now.
Yeah,
well,
he's too busy trying to get his $1 million back from Xander.
I actually liked the conversation EJ had with John. I thought it was the first time they connected really as father and son, and you could actually see their actual like familiar relationship. And I actually thought he gave him sound advice when he was kind of like, I think EJ saw into Alli and kind of what she was up to, and I don't know, I liked it. I liked their interaction.
But EJ, the difference I think is that right now, I know this has been Paulina's, we can't say this 100% about Paulina, but everybody right now except for EJ is telling these kids, just, be honest, be true to yourselves, be whoever you're going to be. And there's a part of EJ, there's a big part of EJ that wants Johnny to be a Demera, that is trying to squash out Johnny's individuality and make him more of a Demera, more of what he wants him to be. And though that's not coming out in this conversation in terms of Chanel, I fear that will become that, because he's already trying to. There's a difference between the assessment of Alli's feelings as a third party and getting in the middle, which I'm hoping doesn't happen. Like, none of the adults should be like getting in the middle, but EJ in particular, it's like he is not Alli's father. This situation he needs to back away from.
I just feel like it's wrong for EJ to push him being a part of, like, if he doesn't want to be a part of Demera, like, let him have his own path. Like, that just doesn't make sense to keep pushing when he clearly doesn't want to do it. There have been other people who are Demeras that did not fully want to embrace being a Demera. Chad was one of those people. Lexi was one of those people. And now you have Johnny. So, like, let him figure it out. Let him, if you want him a part of the business, sure, but like, let him be a part of it the way that he wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
We said a couple of weeks ago when Anna mentioned, the media arts division of Demera Enterprises. Okay, well, let him do that. At least he's still a part of the company. At least he's still like making the company grow. But like, don't keep pushing this narrative, because now it's just starting to get annoying. I want to be a filmmaker. You're going to be a part of the Demera Enterprise. Like, this boy is like in his 20s. Like, I think he knows like what he wants to be. But when it comes to this, so I originally thought when it was just Chanel, Tripp, and Alli, that this was going to be an interesting dynamic. Now, with the addition of Johnny, I'm just like, can y'all just take a day to really think about what it is that you want? You've been open and honest so far. If deep down in your heart you want to explore, then do that.
Yeah.
With being honest and saying, hey, I'm not sure what this is. I'm just kind of going to go with it. And then if I feel like it's not right for me, then I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, and like let's think about like Stefano and Chad. Chad came into Stefano's life later on. Stefano was his youngest, and of course he was in his feelings about, making Chad a part of the company, making Chad a part of the family, but he still supported Chad when he wanted to go off and do his own thing. Yes, Chad eventually came back and he became a full-fledged part of Demera Enterprises, but Stefano still supported him in letting him do his own thing. I think trusting that one day he would come into the fold on his own, which he did. But it's not something that you can force. I can't believe I'm complimenting Stefano Demera. But he did do that.
Yeah.
Stefano was wiser as a father than EJ is. I think Stefano was older.
Well, he had experience. He had 50 kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
He messed up a lot. He messed up as much as he helped, but he did. I mean, yeah, he did support his kids' endeavors, even if they were terrible.
But EJ and Stefano had that little time where they were sort of at odds with each other, and a lot of it was about business and stuff like that. So I mean, they went through it too. It's interesting that EJ doesn't sort of recognize that or recognize he's sort of doing the same thing and kind of following in the same footsteps. And not for nothing, like the Demirs are not like they're not this amazingly close-knit family. They sort of rally around each other when there's a common enemy, but they're not terribly close to each other. There's not this
they're not above turning on each other if it's
yeah.
And so it's
clear.
Like I'd be more sympathetic if EJ was trying to change that across the board, but he's not really. He's just kind of wanting to keep things status quo with him in charge and just grooming his children to sort of be the next wave of the Demirs that are actually in charge, as opposed to, because I think he had that conversation with Chad about Charlotte and oh God, what's Thomas not getting it? Yeah,
they're children.
Yeah. That's what makes it even worse.
Why are you thinking about that right now? Chad's not even thinking about that right now. He wants to. When Chad talks about building a legacy for his children, he doesn't mean like grooming them to take over. He's talking about building something that could possibly support them down the line, but he's not going to force them into it. That's two totally different things.
All right, so back to the foursome.
We'll see how it goes. But I think that with the exception of EJ, I think, at least in my opinion, all the parents or parental figures gave sound advice. Even Ava.
Oh, God.
We forgot about her, yeah.
That whole situation. Well, we'll see. I mean, look into your heart and decide what you want. Like, no one's trying to, no one's saying that you have to be with someone. It's just just figure it out. But that whole meetup was so awkward for no reason, and then it ended in disaster for no reason. It literally could have just been like, oh, okay, hey, and then you guys had a decent conversation instead of a tea spilling where oh yeah, I told them this. Oh my God, you're with my brother. Ew, gross. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like the idea of Chanel with another girl until I realized it was my sister. Ew. It's just, and then you got Tripp just, well, we're gonna go.
I know that looked awkward, but I think it was a good thing because I really did half expect Tripp to bring up the fact that Johnny was completely MIA the past year when Alli was going through all of her stuff.
Okay, but let's, in true context, right? If this were reality, the second Alli came into Salem, Johnny wouldn't have been too far behind. Mm-hmm. In actuality. Yeah. But let's keep it real. They didn't know when they was gonna add Johnny in. You know what I mean? So it's we can't use that as oh, well, he hasn't been there. Well, he would have been there.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Him. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I would feel that way. I was just wondering if Tripp was if they were actually gonna go there.
Yeah, well,
I'm still wondering if they're gonna go there.
I mean, I feel like they shouldn't. But I also feel like they are changing the dynamic of Johnny and Alli, because when Johnny came into town and was like, "Hey, Alley Cat," oh my God, Johnny, you're here today. It seemed like they had a great bond with each other until they were sitting there, and then it showed a completely different dynamic. So it's are they brother and sister who bump heads, or are they twins who get along? What are we dealing with now? So I feel like the dynamic changed once you entered Chanel and Tripp.
It seems like we have a lot to learn about their dynamic because their formative years were basically spent abroad. So we have no idea what their bond was like as they got older and they became adults.
Right. We have no context in terms of that. Just the one or two scenes, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, yes, John Del Rey, siblings do fight, but the way they fought, it was just kind of Jesus, do y'all like each other? Can't you just be happy that you two are dating? Mm-hmm. Anywho, all right. So we'll see how that story unfolds. Now thinking about it, this week was a little like. Now we have Brady, Chloe, Philip, and Belle. Belle told Philip not to get on that plane and go after them. Belle told him that. Belle told him that. Belle said, as she was eating that fry that had been sitting on that table for a long time, so I know that fry was cold. She reminded him of 20 years ago how your jealousy got into it, and then you just didn't let Chloe be Chloe. And, Chloe is trustworthy, and, you keep stepping in and you keep making mistakes. Don't get on that plane. Eat your burger, go home and go to bed. That's what Belle said. And then she said, I'm going to take one more fry and I'm going to take this pie home to my man because he's been waiting. And I ain't got no time for this. And I told you what you need to do. Therefore, you need to do it. And what did he do? What did he do, y'all?
Of course, you knew he was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to go, be an idiot, show up at the hotel, act like an asshole. And luckily, Chloe finally came to her senses. I was upset that Chloe let what Philip said get to her. And then she started doubting, she started doubting Brady's intentions. And I'm like, okay, this is obnoxious. But then once Philip showed up, I was glad she finally, I'm glad she essentially just threw him out and said, go home. I'm going with Brady. So long.
I was kind of mad at Brady. I feel like Brady he's trying to play the nice guy, but he's really being underhanded.
He's always doing that. He does. Always. Even with Kristen. I mean, Kristen is diabolical, but he even does that with her. He's always playing the nice guy, the savior, the guy who's he's just like, oh, nothing's ever my fault. But it's always his fault.
And I think it's easy to get mad at Philip because we think he's kind of being jealous, but he kind of was right. I mean, he walk in on them, but he was right for the most part.
Here's the thing: it was people was like, I think Belle said it was he had like a don't let your paranoid jealousy get in the way kind of a thing. And I said like jealousy, yes, he's absolutely jealous.
Yeah,
but is he really paranoid?
He's not paranoid at all.
No.
Brady could have completely structured this differently if he really didn't want Chloe all to himself. This would have never even been an issue. There was no reason why they had to stay overnight at the hotel. There's no reason why Philip couldn't have tagged along. It was all orchestrated just to be alone with Chloe.
What do you mean there was no reason why Philip couldn't tag along? They are doing Demira basic black business. Why would Philip tag along?
I disagree that Brady was being diabolical in this.
I don't think he was diabolical, but
and I don't think he was setting the. I don't think he was setting the situation up with intent to do anything with Chloe or to get in the way of the relationship.
He was still pleased about it.
Time out. Were they in a motel that only had one room available?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did they say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
Supposedly, the other rooms were being painted, so they didn't have the other rooms. Supposedly, Brady's room was occupied by an older couple. That's why he was wet. They had that whole story about he walked in on the older couple having sex, and the guy dumped water on him, and that's why he came into Chloe's room wet. So that's what that was about. But
so then the motel, because this is 2021, the motel didn't have one of those roller beds.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Or he didn't think right off the bat to do a pallet on the floor like Chloe did eventually.
He did. He was sleeping on something, but then his injury or whatever.
This is what I'm saying. Where it's convenient.
Brady's
it's
big
not.
tall.
He's not. No.
Brady's big tall 6'2", 6'3" self cannot have laid in a love seat to go to sleep.
Guys, we sleep on airplanes. I mean, come on.
Not comfortably.
Not comfortably.
We also don't
sleep
but
on
we
planes.
sleep.
I never sleep.
Listen, let
but
me
we
tell
sleep.
you.
We do what we gotta do.
If they allowed to sleep in the aisles, I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't allow that. They had that big old room where there was enough places to make a nice pallet on the floor. You didn't have to sleep in the chair. You didn't have to do and listen, it was fine until midnight, because thank you, Days of Our Lives, for showing us the time span of the clock. When all of a sudden Chloe rolls over and breaks down the wall of Jericho and decides to And then all of a sudden at midnight, here comes Philip, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like this don't make no sense. Like they could have took it back to elementary school. Remember when like your friend who was also a guy and y'all would share a bed and y'all would do feet to head. One person would lay one way and then the other person would lay with their feet where your head is and they head where your feet is.
Mm.
Or you lay one way and then they laid another way. There were certain ways that they could have sectioned themselves off to where they could have been okay.
Yeah.
The consensus is that Brady was being a little bit underhanded, and that he was trying
that's
to
what I
set
meant.
this
I didn't
up.
mean like he paid off the hotel or like he
Yeah.
acted like
No.
the plane. I didn't mean that. I meant
Like,
he's
did
Yeah.
he create the situation?
Yeah.
No. Was he hoping to take advantage of it? Yes. And this is why I don't like him really that much anymore, because he just is always playing the nice guy, because it's never his fault. It's always just a situation that just happened. And, if he happens to take advantage of it, it's not his fault. He's just
And
being a good guy.
also when Philip
He's a
got
nice
there,
guy.
it was about him antagonizing him. It wasn't like, hey man, this is what happened. I understand how it looks. It was about like, yeah, I was in bed with it. And he made a joke about being in bed with her. Like he's trying to get with Chloe, which is fine, but like be upfront about it. Stop pretending
trying
like
to
this is
play the
about
nice guy.
business. Yeah, it's not. You want to get along with her.
They all
Right.
need new people. They all need new people. Bring some new blood, bring new people, because none of them are right with each other. They all need new people desperately.
Well,
Brady just needs to be safe.
This is just an unnecessary triangle. We already got one with Alli, Chanel, and Tripp, and now Johnny, and
But
that
at
makes
least
more
that
sense.
makes sense.
But that
It's
makes
like,
more sense.
That
Hold
makes more
on.
sense, because you know what? They're all in their 20s. They're all in their 20s. This is what happens. This is what it does. But the problem is that we already went through this triangle with these exact people almost 20 years ago. We're done now.
Right. Okay. So back to what I was saying.
Right.
So like, yeah, like there's no point in like having this whole thing with Brady, Chloe, and Philip again, because yes, it's nice to be nostalgic. However, these people are grown. They have already been through stuff, and I feel like, when Chloe felt something for Brady and Brady didn't return it, like she said, you made your decision. So like, and now I made my decision. So like, leave it alone. Like, and I don't even understand why Brady wants to hop into another relationship. You just let Kristen go.
Preach. Yeah.
Like you can't keep hopping from bed to bed to bed.
It's all he knows. It is all he knows. He doesn't know how to be single.
Well, maybe if he stays alone for a little bit and does some self-reflection, he can find the woman that he's supposed to be with.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on.
I guess.
So now we are setting up to go beyond Salem.
Whew, okay.
Which I actually thought was really good, that it wasn't such a jarring thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like to have all of a sudden these people in like all of these places. So we kind of know where everyone's going. We know that, and side note, I don't know why, but it just dawned on me that Anna and Roman are the parents of Carrie, and Roman and Marlena are the parents of Sammy, and Sammy and Carrie are actually half-sisters.
Yeah.
Because when she kept saying my daughter Carrie, I was like, you got a daughter named Carrie too?
I completely that was good. That was good, like history reference, because I forgot that too. Because since I've been watching when I started watching the show, Marlena was always Carrie's mother figure, and I remember it being explained in an episode. Like Marlena said something about your mother, and I was like, I thought she was the mom. Then my mother had to explain it to me, because she watched Days in the 80s, and she's like, oh no, Carrie's not Marlena's daughter. Carrie is actually Roman. And then I was like, who's Roman? And then she was like, she tried to explain to me the whole Roman, and then the recast of Roman, and then the real Roman, and then that's when John Black was introduced. She tried to explain that whole thing to me, and I was like, I was 14. I was like,
Welcome
I don't get it.
Soaps.
The funny thing is,
I was like, I don't get it, but Marlena's releasing a Panther today, so I gotta go back to my VHS. Thank you.
She's Anna and Roman's child, but she was raised primarily by John, ironically. Like
John and Marlena, I think, were her primary.
Well, John mostly. Marlena
figures,
was kind of here and there, but it was mostly John.
Well, yeah, because John was Roman at the time.
Yeah. And Marlena wasn't around for, she was kidnapped and off the show for many years.
Or Our House.
Our House,
And I thought everybody's, and actually for them to do such a well done, cohesive job of sending everybody off in one episode, I think that was what made it so strong, because I would have thought that it would have taken 2 episodes to really make that so succinct, but it was just really succinctly done. But I don't understand Anna right now. Everybody's story for going out of town makes sense except for Anna.
Anna's was a little forced. Like,
this is a grown-ass woman. This is
well, and that's what everyone was telling her. Like, they're grown-ups. You don't need to interfere.
And it's not even like their marriage is new or something, or like this is like the first time they've had problems. This is a couple that's been together for like, what, 30 years?
On and off,
You know how much Anna cares about people in her life. Remember, she carried Tony around in a martini shaker for quite some time. She also went to bat to try to find. Well, she was part of the crew that was trying to find Stefano. But she shot somebody.
She had the gun because she got blindly shooting.
So in all honesty, it's not really out of character for Carrie to be like, my marriage is like a mess, and she's like, I'm on the next plane to come see about you and see what's going on.
Well, this is in character for Anna. If anything, then I question this is not actually in character for Carrie, because Carrie actually usually goes to Marlena with this stuff because she knows how her mom is, because she's usually the one all those years in when they thought that Tony was dead. Carrie was the one that was like kind of taking care of her mom. It's kind of been they've had that opposite relationship.
Well, maybe in a casual conversation, she's just like, "Oh, Austin, getting on my nerves. Like, this marriage is so done." And then, you have that lapse in judgment of like, "Ooh, I done told the wrong person the wrong thing."
Yeah, I don't think Carrie's expecting.
But in any event, it was a way to explain that Anna and Tony are on their way to Zurich. So is John and Marlena, because John got the phone call from Shane about a case. Then you have Chad going to visit Sonny and Will in Arizona. And then you have Paulina, Abe, Lonnie, and Eli going to Miami. So what's interesting is that you have all these people in all these different places. And now it's going to be interesting to see how it all connects with Beyond Salem. I will say this. There have been fans, bless you so much. There's been so much back and forth about, I'm not going to watch Beyond Salem. Why are they doing this? This doesn't make sense. Why didn't, listen.
I haven't seen any of that.
Yes. James Lott Jr. and I talked yesterday, and we both were like, there's a reason for this. We're not quite sure what the reason is, but the fact that they're doing a spinoff on Peacock, they're testing something, right?
They're testing to see whether they're going to put either more of this type of programming on Peacock or move days to Peacock when the 2 years is up.
Right. So, if anything, just indulge in it. Because I think those characters, for some reason, I feel like those characters are not going to be on this week, and they're just going to be featured in Beyond Salem, and everything else in Salem is going to happen so it's like we're going to see what's happening in Salem and what's happening outside of Salem.
Beyond Salem.
Beyond Salem. So just enjoy it. Like, you guys, if Peacock is free. Yes, oh my gosh, y'all, side note, this woman was all upset on YouTube saying like, I won't be able to watch it. And I'm like, well, where are you from? Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to deal with it. And I'm just like, I'm literally trying to help you watch it, and you just still don't. So listen, here's how you watch Beyond Salem. You can download Peacock for free wherever Peacock is available. You don't have to pay $4.99 for the premium. You simply download and sign up for Peacock, and then don't go searching for Beyond Salem because it's not up yet. But it should be coming on tomorrow. So I don't know if they're going to release it at midnight, if it's going to be something that just comes on during the day. I don't know how it's going to be. Yeah, but when it's up, you'll be able to see it. Now, if you are in Canada, old Canada, you can watch it on Stack TV or the Global app. Now, if you live in Canada, if you don't live in Canada and you don't live in the US and you're in Australia or like somewhere else and you're like, I don't know how to get this, I'm pretty sure however you've been getting Days of Our Lives episodes will be the same way you'll be able to get Beyond Salem.
Very well put. Yes.
Make Facebook friends with people is all I'm going to say to that.
Let me tell you a little clickety clack, and trust me, someone will have it up somewhere so that you don't.
Yes,
but whether you are a longtime fan or you've been watching the show or whatever, please give it a chance. Y'all stop complaining when these folks be trying to do something new.
I haven't seen complaining. I've seen complaining that like people saying like they just want to be able to access it, and you know what? So then let's make that a part of the conversation. Like Michael said, they're testing something here. So if you have concerns, constructive criticism, as in you want to watch it, you can access it, you want more of it, please voice those. People pay attention when you have something positive to say in terms of, I want more of this. How can I get more of this? People listen when you voice those kinds of concerns.
Yeah, so watch it. Beyond Salem premieres on tomorrow, Monday, September 26th. So check it out on Peacock or on Global app or Stack TV in Canada.
Yes.
And on your other places if you can't get either one of those.
We all have friends. Which is another beautiful thing about the soap community. You know, you find each other, we band together. There's always a way. We're there for each other.
Oh, did you just post the DM that someone did, Michael?
No.
I'll post that. So someone just said that they DM'd Peacock TV today and asked what time it would be available, and this was the reply. Thanks for reaching out. Each episode will be released early in the day when they become available.
Okay.
So check it 9 a.m. If it's not there, check it noon. If it's not there, check it 3. If it's not there.
I will say the PR department needs some work, but
Ooh, I
saw it.
John Del Rey was shady towards Araceli.
Who, me?
John Del Rey said, Araceli, you haven't seen complaining because you only use one social media platform. That has tickled me for today.
Yeah, y'all don't need to know all my business.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. All of them were pretty much, John and Marlena, Anna and Tony, Lonnie, Eli, Paulina, Abe were all being set up to go Beyond Salem. Chad, Gabby, and
it wasn't in. Sorry, it wasn't in the episode, but Ben and Sierra are going to New Orleans. That's just kind of their regular storyline, though.
From last week,
So they're also going to be Beyond Salem, but that was kind of set up separately from everyone else getting set up.
Which is kind of interesting because I don't know how that wasn't like overtly explained kind of a thing. That was just a part of their storyline. Like we could have seen that on the regular prime time, regular daytime. So I'm not exactly sure what the tie-in is going to be there. It seems like they're setting it up to kind of have everything tied together.
Well, did y'all go to Lisa Rinna's social media and see, like, I'm assuming it's the first scene?
That's, they released
of Beyond Salem.
Of Beyond Salem? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Picture it.
Yes.
This is what happened.
You're totally gonna describe it.
So Ben and Sierra are sitting there being Ben and Sierra, right? They it's so good to be out of Salem. And then Sierra looks over and they see this slender woman with a dress on, with long dark hair and a tiara. And Sierra goes, Mom? Lynn's like, no, it couldn't be. They then walk over and Sierra goes, Mom, and turns her around only to reveal that it's Billy Reed. In scene.
And so when I actually thought it was going to be Greta for some reason, and I thought it was like, oh, did I miss something that she was? And I was like, oh, is she in this too? Like, that's where my mind went when I saw that.
Ooh, that actually would have been interesting.
I thought that, yeah, I could thought that immediately when it happened. But yeah, it was a cute scene.
Yeah. So anyway, that's them, and then the whole Chad, Gabby, Jake thing, like.
I mean, does anybody take Gabby seriously anymore?
Well, I mean, I kind of barely paid attention. Yay, he got a job at Titan. Okay, y'all are still arguing, and that's what led to Chad calling, Sonny. But whatever. Anyway.
It seems like they're now like I feel like they're sort of maybe not listening to the complaints, but they're seeing sort of us talk about like, why is Gabby doing this? This makes no sense. And it seems like now this week they've been pushing it as like these people are the rich people and we're like the downtrodden, like salt of the earth people who like need to make it kind of a thing. I got that this week where they kept saying like, Philip's rich, he got the company handed to him, and EJ and Chad, they got the company handed to him, and we're workers and we worked for this and we deserve to have, like, it seemed like they were pushing that angle with them. And I was kind of like, this still makes no sense with the Philip stuff. Like, so you basically now just dislike Philip because he's Victor's son, you don't have any goodwill towards him because he's the one who came in and helped you with your company. Like,
it's really weird.
It still makes no sense. Yeah.
The whole thing is very weird. It doesn't make sense. Like, Jake, you have been a CEO of a company for a hop, skip, and a jump. Like, calm down.
With Kate's help, everyone keeps pointing out it was Kate that was like helping you run the company because you have no skills.
Literally the only part where Gabby made sense was to remind Chad to pay attention to his friendships, to pay attention to something other than Abigail being gone, which is probably the only good point she's made in months.
I did like that setup for the Will and Sonny thing. I thought that actually made sense of her trying to sort of one-up him about them. So I thought that sort of made sense to me, that interaction. Yeah. Well,
we shall see what's going to happen. I just can't wait for Gabby to finally read whatever she needs to read on Philip's computer. She still ain't read that yet. So, all right. Before we move on to tidbits, just a reminder, you guys, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're visiting us on it. You're probably talking live. You're probably in the chat room right now and realizing I never subscribed to the channel. So make sure you go ahead and do it. And you guys, if you are a part of any other Days of Our Lives Facebook groups, Instagram groups, wherever groups, please make sure you share our YouTube channel so that way we can have a wonderful place for all Days fans to come and give their thoughts on this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives. Also, if you want to find us, you can go to all of our social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is still and will always be forever implied. And you can also find us on your favorite podcast channels. We are on iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you listen to your favorite podcast. So make sure you like us over there as well. All right. Now for some oh my God. Calista, Bonnie, Justin.
I know.
This whole storyline was just a way for them to write in Calista Flockhart? No, Calista Lockhart.
Who's married to Harrison Ford?
And who's she married to? Harrison
Lord.
No. I was like, was that the entire reason that they're writing this shit?
You guys know I'm a fan with open arms, right? And I'm really trying to go on this journey. I am just confused,
right,
as to why this woman has come out of nowhere looking like Bonnie's sister instead of sister-in-law,
right,
and has this vendetta on her, and how Bonnie is freaking out, and how we've never heard of this husband that she's allegedly killed.
Right.
I thought she went to jail for what she did to Adrian.
She went to jail for what she did to Adrian, but she it was previously explained that she covered for Mimi because Mimi killed the dad.
Mimi killed the sister-in-law's husband.
No, Mimi killed her dad.
Bonnie's husband.
Yeah.
And Bonnie took the fall for her.
Okay. But then who is Harrison?
No one we've ever met.
Yeah, we've never met.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Yeah. So, like, this whole thing is confusing. Can somebody please just donate $5 million and pass it out to people? Because everybody in Salem apparently is broke. Like, so I'm very confused about Calista.
Flockhart.
I'm very confused about that. The actress who plays her is doing an amazing job. Like she's fun, she's funny, she's like, that's why I felt like if she had came in as Bonnie's sister, I would have bought that more than anything. And if she came in like I need some money and woo, dog, you done hit the jackpot. And she started like just being old Bonnie.
Yep. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. I would have accepted that more because, like, I literally am watching the episodes and I'm like, wait, what now? You who? Your husband did what? So then now Bonnie is gonna go and steal the $1 million from Xander.
Why did she just take the briefcase? Why did she have to transfer? I missed that detail. Like, why didn't she just take the briefcase and run out of there?
Well, I think because she didn't want him to know that the $1 million was
she was the one who stole it because she didn't come in.
I didn't put that together. I was like, just take the briefcase.
Yeah.
She invited him to the
You're right. He would have realized it was stolen.
Yeah. Because I thought the same thing.
And again, this is not a knock on the actress who plays Calista, Katie Huffman.
No,
we love her. She's perfect for the role that she is cast in.
However, none of this is commentary about anyone acting in this storyline.
Yes,
it's
the
just
setup.
The setup and the storyline itself is just a little discombobulated.
It wasn't set up correctly. So
But do you also think that this is a way for their wedding not to happen?
There's got to be. I'm curious what the end game is. Like I'm like, there's got to be a point to this. Like. Now they're bringing Xander into it for some reason. Well, because he has the $1 million. So now that's going to be his, direction, I guess. I don't know. But I'm just wondering what, for this one, it's, sometimes you can see like a clear end game with storylines. You're like, oh, they're probably leading that. With this one, I just want to know what that is.
Yeah, you hit on it perfectly, Michael. And I think that's the frustration with several storylines that we're having right now, where we're just kind of like, and the point is,
is it just to give her and Justin conflict? Because if so, you could have found a bunch of different ways to do that, or like give them something else. Like, I feel like their whole relationship has been conflict. So like, either let them have the happy ending or break them up naturally and give each of them something else to do. Then, like, interesting way to take this.
Yeah. What was I gonna...
more than Kate.
What happened?
That comment. I don't know about this. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I would have rather have seen the bachelorette party, which led to Taylor.
I would have rather have seen that.
Yeah.
Than to sit here and really watch Justin be awkward with Calista. Because at some point I'd be like, I don't know her. She feels weird. Why is she in my house?
Yeah.
But he was very nice and very accommodating, and I don't know. And I definitely wouldn't have left her in my house by herself.
No.
Yes, and that Victor's not aware of any of this because he would have come charging and like, who the hell is this woman in my house?
Right. Oh, dude, what a confusing storyline. But
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
Xander, EJ, and Nicole. Well, first off, snaps to all things Xander this week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his underwear.
Very well. Really good.
He's a nice pick-me-up.
It was great. I was like, breakfast in bed. Don't mind if I do. But okay, did anyone? Okay, because EJ wants this money back so bad.
Oh God, him and this money.
But it started making me think, like, is you broke?
Right. Like, that's what I'm like, why is he so... that's what I started to think, too. Why is he so hung up on $1 million? Like,
look,
right.
EJ is petty. He is petty by nature. And so I buy it when he tells Nicole, it's the principle of the matter.
Well, he said it's about Sammy. It's really about getting back at Sammy, which
it's petty. It's petty.
Doesn't really make sense now because she already gave, like, she doesn't have the money anyway. So it's not like,
It's
It's a flimsy excuse, even if you believe it.
And why has no one called Sammy just to check? I find it odd that like even EJ mentioned, we'll call your mother. Good luck getting in touch with her. And I'm just like, so no one cares that they haven't heard from Sammy? Like, no one has been like, let me call my mama and just like, hey, is you all right? Is you okay? Like, everyone is just going about their lives, but nobody is wondering who done kidnapped Sammy.
Yeah. I mean, Sammy is all up in her kid's business all the time, even when she's not supposed to be. So, yeah.
Oh, and Freeman Griffin mentioned they haven't called Sarah either.
That one's more suspicious.
Yes.
I feel like with Sammy, everyone's probably like, listen, she's dealing with some stuff. She's out of our hair for right now. Like, let's enjoy the peace, maybe. But
well, I guess they all assume that she just left town with
Rex. Yeah.
No, Rex came back.
No, but they don't know that he's not with Sarah.
No, they do. No, some people do know that because Rex came back after that for a little bit, for like a day or two. And he told Roman. He told somebody.
Yeah, but I think it's just the one person who wouldn't talk to Sarah anyway. Like, Roman's not going to call Sarah, so that's why I'd say, like, Maggie assumes, I think they're still together. Like, everyone who would worry about her assumes she's just with Rex, but doesn't explain why they wouldn't talk to her. I mean, that's still,
Yeah,
it's just a lot. But anyway,
okay.
Xander, just get that man his money, and then Xander, do what you can to get him his job back at Basic Black. Or I don't even understand why it has to be at Basic Black.
Yeah.
Somebody at Demira Enterprises.
I was saying that the whole time. I'm like, why not just hire him at Demira and pay? Like, he's still valuable. He used to run Titan. Like, why that wasn't a solution.
Oh, Lord Jesus. That's something else.
But guys, how did we feel about the new EJ and Nicole dynamic?
There was some playfulness there for a second, and I was like,
Reminiscent of their marriage and relationship in the past. Like, they were very equally matched in a lot of ways. Not that I'm clamoring for them to be back together, but they have a, like, not push and pull with each other, but they get each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Nicole needs someone new to interact with. I think some old new person to interact with, and I think this is.
Was this the first time we saw was Dan and Ari together?
No, but
the wedding party, the wedding celebration, party.
It's not new, but I think this is like the first time we see that they're that old chemistry.
Yeah.
that, which is ironic because it's a new actor, but it's that old chemistry coming back kind of a thing that you remember, like, oh, these two people were married.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of Xander, Gwen and Jack.
Okay, Jack is really fired up about this. It's very, it's very strange. He was like on 100 with Gwen and about getting Xander, and I need to expose him, and I gotta somehow drum up more charges to get him out of. Like, it was so strange.
For somebody who's a reporter, you reporting this all wrong.
I know.
All wrong. It's just anyway. At the end of the day, I'm glad Gwen is coming around and telling Jack the truth so he can calm down.
Yep.
But I'm now wondering if she's going to tell the whole truth, because there's one last bit that she has to say, and she might as well say it now or forever hold her peace.
I think she is, because I think she's realizing that, I think no matter how angry Jack is with her, I think by this point, I think he's probably going to forgive her. And the weight of that last tidbit has just become too much. Secrets carry weight, and it didn't used to bother her because she was the one doing the manipulation and the secret keeping, but now this is just too much.
Well, we'll find out more next week. Moving on. Last but not least, Ava and Rafe. Girl, bye. Like, just bye. Like, the fact that she was just,
I'm waiting in the dark.
I'm like, girl, like, if you know the type of person you're with, you would know that, like, and Rafe admitted, there were some thoughts, and don't act like you haven't had thoughts. Like, y'all are dating, like, it's not like y'all been dating for a year.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. Like, he didn't act on his feelings. Like, he didn't do that. He 100% committed to you. You are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because you got Gabby saying that, oh, he's better off without you, sweetie. Oh, look, I bet he's cheating on you. Listen, he's cheating on you. He's cheating. Like, like doing all this stuff. So, like, all this stuff is in her head. And I'm sorry. You know what? Oh, I also had this thought. Days has done something to the characters of Gwen and Ava that does not, the way they are currently, they are not these strong, like, independent, master mindful thinking that they were when they were first introduced. Because remember, going back to Gwen had this whole plan that literally no one caught on to. So how does she go from that to a guy dying and she's like, I don't know what to do? Like, bitch, you set up this whole plan and now you don't know what to get. And then Ava, who was ruthless and madly in love with Steve, who did everything she needed to do in order to hold on to that love, is now baking lasagna.
God.
Like, girl.
It made her into a housewife.
And now sitting at home being insecure about being with a good man.
Yeah.
If you don't go unpack your bag and cook that man dinner and then y'all both go to bed. I was over it. I was over that whole conversation. I was like, I don't even see Rafe and Nicole like that anyway.
Look,
like
it was
too soon.
Look, it was a nice conversation to have. And in any other context, maybe with any other couple, I would probably be all for it. I'd be clapping right along with it that this conversation happened. Problem is that this is not Ava. This is not who Ava is. This is not her character. I wanted growth from this woman. I didn't want her to become a completely different person dependent on a man in this way.
Yeah.
Though that's the only part of her character that might have been, that is still the same, is that her happiness used to depend on Steve, and then her happiness depended on Tripp. That's the only part of it. But this was also a very strong-willed, wacky person. what the hell happened?
Yeah.
A lasagna burn.
A person can only eat so much lasagna. Okay.
And
Well,
also,
that.
yeah, I was gonna say this show knows how to write characters like Kate and Sammy, women who still have their edge and can also be sympathetic and be nice and have familiar relationships and have friendships with people, but still be bad and cause trouble and stuff. But for some reason, they decided to take Ava and Gwen so far to the other side that
there's a difference between being a better person and being a completely different person. That's not no.
And John Del Rey, you are right. Ava is correct in her assumptions, but the two are not acting on it.
Yeah,
and I think again, it's a situation where he made his decision and he's being faithful towards that. But if I think this conversation should have been not her moving out and packing up and being jealous and all this, but again, like Paulina and Nicole went to Chanel and Alli, Ava goes to him and say, "Listen, we're grown, okay? If you have feelings for Nicole, go be with Nicole.
Yeah,
I can bow out gracefully. No hard feelings. You're cool. I'm cool. We can keep it moving. But if this is what you truly want, then I need to know that 100%. And I need you to make sure that I feel 100% comfortable with the friendship that you and Nicole are going to have.
Yeah.
Point blank, not period. Because if there's any other indication that there is something more going on between you two besides a friendship, I will pack my little raggedy duffel bag and leave. And you will have no lasagna.
You know what? I counter. You know what would have made this whole conversation sweeter for me, and I just thought of it, is if after that conversation happened,
that Duke the Bear came in and spilled all the tea.
No, is if we got some kind of look from Ava afterwards, and we found out that the suitcase was empty.
That suitcase was empty. Did you see how they picked it up? There was no question about that suitcase. That suitcase was empty. They had nothing in that suitcase.
Yeah.
They lifted that thing up so lightly.
I would have loved to see it, because then I would have been like, "Oh, okay, now this is the Ava I know."
Well, everyone, that has been your week of days, and now we're going to go into our favorite part of the show, which are our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official three snaps award.
Oh, snap!
All right, so my 3 snaps award goes to Chloe Lane, because honey, when I tell you, she looked up at Philip and was basically like, "Look, okay, I have had it," and she went off on him, and I was like, "Yes, Chloe, yes, he needs a good talking to, because you are a grown-ass woman who has expressed to him that you have chosen him, and him doing all his stunts and shenanigans you are not going to stand for." So Nadia Bjorlin, Chloe Lane, for telling off Philip, you get Tony's official 3 snaps award.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, there we go. All right. I don't even know if y'all heard it. You probably didn't. What a mess. All right. And now it's time for
Caption Man. All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Raven Bowens and Jack A, Chanel, and Paulina. And this week's caption, for like the 10th time, goes to Megan Bizarro on Instagram with her caption of, "Did you just call me Sandra?"
You mean Sandra?
Sandra.
She called me Sandra.
That's cute.
That's a funny one. And that has been
Caption That.
Yay.
and now oh no. Oh. Can't play that song. Yeah. It automatically plays after. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. And now it's time for those were the days.
Everyone, this week's segment, Those Were the Days, I'm taking you back to September 2nd, 1997, when Carrie burst in and stopped Sammy and Austin's wedding, not only to reveal that Sammy was faking her amnesia, not only to reveal that Austin was not Will's father, but to finally take out her years and years frustration on Sammy, where she proceeded to knock her completely out. Sammy would not slap, but knock out, which then preceded Sammy on her stomach, knocked out in her wedding dress.
Was she knocked out?
She was knocked out.
Out for a moment. Yes.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I thought I always remember this as a slap, because I know we always talk about how Sammy's the queen of slapping, but then I went back and looked and I was like, oh no, she actually like punched her, like knocked her.
That sound effect was a punch.
Yeah, it was a punch. Yeah, she definitely
aired, I was like, oh, she decked her, like close-fisted and everything.
Yeah. Allison Sweeney looked so pretty in this dress, though.
I know, she was gorgeous. Yeah.
So yes, that was crown, though.
September 2nd, 1997, where Carrie knocked out Sammy on her wedding day.
Nice. And of course, those were the days. And now it's time for It's a Gift.
This week's It's a Gift goes to Eli Grant with his come on. Oh, yeah. Do not wake me up. With all of the muster of this is all of us who have kids or babysat, and after a drunk night and the kids wake you up and you're like, why?
Yeah. Well, he was working the late shift, and Lonnie woke him up to go. Right? Yeah.
Why?
He wanted to sleep in.
It's like, why?
Him was tired. Mm-hmm. But guess what though? That was It's a Gift. All right, and now it's time for some news and gossip.
Yes, we are starting off with some Beyond Salem news. Peacock has released some promotional pics this week, which are all really good. I think me and Tony were talking about how great they came out. What did you guys think?
They look great.
Everyone looks really good.
Yeah. More Beyond Salem news. If you those of you who missed it, we did an interview with the lovely Deidre Hall, who was really great and accommodating, and really talked about Beyond Salem and kind of gave us some tidbits there.
That was Justin setting up the clip. So
yes.
let me
I got it.
You know what? I think because there were so many of us that have missed each other, the director had to begin every direction with "Shut up." We couldn't leave each other alone. Charles, what you been doing? And oh God, Christy, you're here. How are the girls? I mean, it was so delicious to be in that room for 5 days.
Yes. So for more of that interview, make sure you go to our YouTube channel to find the remaining part. It was an amazing interview, and it was great to talk to Deidre as always.
Yes. And next week, we will be doing, us here at Dishin Days, we're doing a full recap of Beyond Salem at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. So come back here where we will discuss Beyond Salem.
Yes. You're doing great, Justin.
Okay, yeah, moving on. Some news from Emily O'Brien. She wrote and produced a short film around 2011, I believe. It was an award-winning short film, and she actually just released it on her Instagram this past week. Her Instagram is Emroya, Emroya. So you guys can go check that out. The name of it is Beatrice. It stars Emily and some other people. Mm-hmm. Yes. Moving on to Miss Jen Lilly, we have an update. A few weeks ago, we told you about a charity event that Tony participated in, a game night that she was doing that sort of feeds in and generates income for her charity. Christmas is Not Canceled. Well, we got an update this week from Jen, and let me make sure I get this statistic right. Because of that event and others, they have Christmas is Not Canceled managed to serve 4,953 children this year in foster care, and I believe they do a school supply drive with book bags and making sure kids have all the school supplies they need for the year for foster kids who, of course, are less fortunate and cannot afford it. But yeah, so a big congratulations to Jen Lilly and Christmas is Not Canceled. Yes, and everyone who helped, including Tony Moore.
Mm-hmm. It was a fun event.
Yeah. Moving on, we told you last week that our friend Camila Banos got married to her husband, Marlon Aquino. There were no wedding pics at the time, and now we know why, because there was a People exclusive.
Yes, People exclusive.
Yes. And I think there were told maybe 7 to 10 photos kind of released. As we click through them now, you'll get to see bigger shots of the wedding dress. I believe, possibly, yeah.
Love.
Do you love it?
It's a great shot.
I love it.
I love that dress
too.
I love it. Yeah, which probably maybe like a.
Oh. Good God! I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, the dress alone, I was gaga for. But look at these pictures.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Her now husband. I mean, look at how suave it is down to the shoes. I mean, it just perfection. All of it. I loved it.
Yeah, they looked amazing.
Also,
yes.
Hold that glass up.
It's empty.
Also, if those of you want a little behind the scenes, Camilla actually did, I think, Instagram story is about 10 minutes roughly, and she kind of details the sort of wedding weekend and how it was for her and her experience with it. So you can go check that out at her Instagram page at Camilla.
And you can also check out the People magazine article as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have another fan event coming up. This one is a 50th birthday bash for Eric Martzoff and Brian Totillo, who will turn 50 this year. It is September 11th, actually next Saturday. It is taking place in Canada, and it is sponsored by Star Image Entertainment. For tickets and information, you can go to Eventbrite and type in Star Image Entertainment, and yep, it'll come up there. So yeah, big happy birthday to those guys, and yeah. Okay. Next up, we have another virtual Q&A, this one from Spectrum Celebrity Events, starring Wilson, Chandler Massey, and Freddie Smith. This one takes place Saturday, October 16th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All information and tickets you can find at SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com.
Yay! All hosted by me.
Yes.
All right, you guys, it's now that time of the show where we give you a sneak peek as to what's to come next week. Well, wait, should we show both trailers? Because we do have both.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with what's going to happen beyond Salem.
It's called the Alamanian Peacock. And it was stolen in 1991. Their gems have fallen into the wrong hands.
So why do I feel there's more to the story than you're telling?
We're gonna find out who did this.
No one is going to stop me from getting it.
God helps those who help themselves. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Whoa! What the hell is going on? Honey!
So, who are you supposed to be?
Yo, I'm sorry. That every time I watch that trailer, I'm like, this is going to be so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And now let's see what's going to happen in Salem next week.
My own husband locked me in the freezer.
When you don't see eye to eye,
What is the rush to have a kid right now?
you may end up
Are you thinking about us getting married?
toe to toe.
Tony, are you okay?
It'll
You okay?
be fine.
You know, I hate a gun struggle.
Yeah.
I usually don't hate it, but why was there a pillow in
I know, I was just going to say they had an added bonus of a pillow between it.
All I know is that bullet better not have hit Bonnie Lockhart. They better not do Judy Evans like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we didn't really mention Sin because Sin was like in their own little thing. But let's take a poll. Sin baby, are we ready for it now or should it come later?
Later.
Later.
Yeah, give it at least a year. It's just too soon.
And why is Doug locking Julie in the freezer?
Now that I am actually really interested to see.
Are we getting that storyline if we come to that now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
but look, I love that promo because even in that promo, like I just feel like it's so amazing that like we are going to see what's happening in Salem and Beyonce. Like I'm just hooked on that concept.
It's gonna be a busy week, guys. You gotta keep up, okay?
Everyone said my face said it all. If someone turns my face into a GIF, I would love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. Well, that has been your week of days, and that has been our show. Please make sure you tune in tomorrow for Beyond Salem, because we are going outside of Salem to see what's happening. All right, you can find it on Peacock, or if you're in Canada, Stack TV or the Global app. But before we head off, Michael Mattis.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can find me
on which platform?
On Instagram and Twitter at ML Mattis.
Love it. Multiple platforms. The birthday girl who downed a whole mimosa and loved Camila's dress. Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
Only one. Justin, where's your social media platform?
You could find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And of course, you guys can find all of us, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on Twitter. Of course, you can find us on YouTube, your favorite podcast stations. And you can find subscribe to our channel. And of course, follow me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. You guys, next week you get a double dose. Oh, and buy merch. Yep. Next week, everyone, you get a double dose of us. That's right. Yes. We will be giving you a full recap of Beyond Salem at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then join us to find out what happened in Salem, where we dish days at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's always wonderful to have you. And until then, we'll see you next week for another full dish of In Salem and Beyond Salem. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.